As a different that most of the cells in our body that they reproduce and they basically have the ability to regenerate through time, neurons do not. So from the moment that we're born with exactly the same amount of neurons that we die for. So if during time these neurons have already different information, it's just the main question. It's really, really difficult to really figure out how it works. Because if from the very first moment of fecundation, you just got one single egg with one single genome that is they have from the mother, and that gets fecundated by the sperm from the father, and then you get the entire genome. How during the entire process of building up a new human being, how can that happen that you get and develop so many different genes or so many different genomes with so many different information? And that's what the whole, once again, is putting in really interesting the whole theory about a mutation and mutation rate. So if we can prove that mutation is occurring in our own body right now, basically that will be questioning the whole Darwin theory about natural selection that occurs through time, and that evolution is something that is really, really occurring really slow through many generations. If we can actually prove that mutation is occurring or natural selection is occurring in every single body, every single day, every single hour, and if something is coming as an outcome. So yeah, it's a really, really, really long discussion. Once again, it's just the more you get into this, the more questions that actually come, and that's why science is really getting more focused and trying to understand that, because there are many questions coming every single day.
I know that very few people actually know about jumping genes, and so if I challenge you once again and say that you could maybe tell a child about jumping genes, and how long can you come with that?
I think luckily I have still a few years before I can go into a jumping gene discussion with my son. Yeah, I don't know. As I said once again, I really don't want to venture in talking more about jumping genes, because this is not my area of expertise. And trying to explain, I don't want to fool my son with the wrong information. But yes, once again, or at least the concept that I have about jumping genes is that, once again, I know really, I haven't read that much about jumping genes. I know the general concept, but no, I don't know. I don't even know who is working with that, to be really honest.
Some years ago, there was a big pandemic, a threat called SARS, S-A-R-S, SARS, and it started in China, and from China it spread to Hong Kong, and from Hong Kong it spread to several other countries like Canada and Singapore and other places. And this was a coronavirus, and maybe you just know something about this, because I know it's not your field, but have you heard about it?
Yes, of course. I mean, SARS, it was a very interesting case of how infections can be spread, because at the end it was very easy, and most of the studies they have done, it was really easy to track this spread of the disease by simply following the international flights. And it's simple how nowadays diseases, especially lethal diseases that are originated from completely different organisms, can enter into the human world. Yeah, as I said, it was just identifying China with some birds. As it was started with with birds, right? Or
No,
it was with
birds.
no, it was with bats. Yeah, it was. I think that there. Okay, now I know. It was different vectors that were ordinary, but I think that
Actually ended on
bats. Yeah. So, but once again, that is just one of the cases that But exactly, then once again, it was a series of vectors that were, or the thing originated from a bat, jumped to a bird, and the bird to a pig, and so far. I think that was yeah, well, at the end they track. And once again, not familiar with SARS, but it's a classic in virology for respecting the transition and the migration of disease for humans.
Just these years or months, we have another SARS-like virus in Saudi Arabia called MERS, I think. And is it something it's also a supposed coronavirus. But is it? I haven't read so much about it. Is something you have read about?
No, I know following the evolution of those viruses, but there is a worldwide, there are international commissions and international groups basically trying to predict how the new outbreak is going to happen and where it's going to happen and how it's going to look, and they are sampling basically everywhere, and they are trying to basically make a projection of where the next outbreak, international or next pandemic, is going to occur. I haven't read about this MERS in Saudi Arabia. I heard there are some diseases in Saudi Arabia. I was 2 years ago getting some of my shuttle samples in the Middle East, and I got some really interesting theories down there. But once again, no, I am not familiar with the MERS outbreak, as you mentioned. Is something from this year or from?
I think it's going on just now.
Okay.
Now back to the turtles. Can you tell us about how you actually make the samples? How do you get the virus to jump into the sea, or what do you do?
Yeah. That was the interesting part, that usually the classical virology, we have been just, in order to identify and to get sequence of the virus, we found sick animals. By sick animals, we found animals that they have tumors, and then we directly extract tissue samples from the tumor, and from there we just use the normal DNA extraction process, or RNA if we're working with it.